Greetings one and all, this is Rhythmworks and welcome to my channel. Now I've called this video Guns and Gloves because it pertains to two games that I'm playing at the moment. The guns part, as you can probably see, it is Call of Duty Black Ops 6. We've now entered into Season 1 and my thoughts on it so far is that, I mean, with the game as a whole, I'm absolutely loving the game. I'm loving the game. I'm doing different things with this iteration of COD than I would have done with any other iteration of COD, and I'll explain. First of all, normally I would basically play a whole lot of zombies. I mean, being a late adopter to zombies and liking zombies, for me it was a great addition to my gaming in COD. And I would normally play zombies to more or less level up my guns, then go into multiplayer, and then basically exude my tactical combat skills, if you like. But I found myself playing a lot more multiplayer, and I know I sound like a broken record at this point when I keep waxing lyrical and gushing about the Omni movement. I cannot praise it highly enough. Right about now, for me, the Omni movement is definitely the deal maker for the game, right? Some people like it, some people don't, but admittedly I didn't like it when it first came out because I just thought it was a gimmick. But in terms of being tactical in relation to how you can look for enemies at a certain point, especially when you're playing domination or was it Hardpoint and those objective types of games. So, you know, positioning for me is very important. But yeah, I've been loving the game. Now, since Season 1 came out, there's been a couple of maps. One of the maps, I can't remember what the first map is called, but it does remind me of one of the maps in XDefiant. It looks very similar because I remember when I first got into that map, I thought to myself, no, I've played this map before, and I realized, shit, I'm playing Call of Duty, not XDefiant. But yeah, I'm liking both maps. One map takes a little bit more getting used to than the other. I forgot oh my gosh, what was the map called again? But anyway, one was in like a helipad, and the other was basically like in I don't know, like a warehouse looking kind of place. You know the maps I'm talking about. Forgive me, man, I'm having that old fart moment. But overall, I mean, you know, with COD Black Ops 6, loving it. And another thing that I'm doing a lot more of that I normally would not do is actually prestiging. I mean, in my previous iterations of COD, where I would just basically prestige and just be happy with prestiging and opening up all of the weapons, attachments, perks, all of that, I'll just be happy with that and not really want to or feel the need to start again and all of that stuff. But this time around, it's like, well, I'm nearly Prestige 3 now, and for me, that's a big deal. That's a big deal for me. But anyway, prestiging, I'm doing a lot more of that than I have done in previous iterations of Call of Duty. So, on the face of it, right about now, I'm absolutely loving COD Black Ops 3. The movement is definitely the deal maker of the entire game thus far. I think personally that I'm playing a lot better with certain gun choices that I'm basically making and all of that stuff. But I mean, look, we're only into Season 1, and you know, things could change, but at the moment I'm liking COD Black Ops 6 a lot, and I'm liking my improvement in my gameplay a lot as well. So that's the gun part's over. Right, the next part, which is the gloves part, which is going to pertain to a game and an event the event that you all know and you all probably witnessed yesterday is none other than Undisputed. Alrighty, well, Undisputed has now had a patch update which was delivered to some earlier than expected, but for me it was still late, because normally with games you'd get a day one patch or you would get a week one patch, but this took a while in basically coming. Now I think we could all agree that whilst the presentation of the game was very nice indeed, the one underlying problem that a lot of people was basically having was the stamina and health distribution, which I am safe to say, and I'm happy to say, that they've addressed it. I play offline and online as well, but mostly I like to play online with my friends. So for me, I wanted to basically experience both offline and online. Now I know my brethren Pemby66, he only plays offline, which is all well and good, you know what I'm saying? But for me, you know, I want to have more bang for my buck when I buy games now, especially if they cost like £60 or £70. Not to say that I paid £60 or £70 for this, but you know what I'm saying. I want to basically get a lot of bang for my buck, no matter how much bucks I paid for the game. So I tested it out offline, and it actually kind of slowed my gameplay down. And I'm not saying that in a bad way, but it actually slowed it down in terms of me being a lot more calculating with my combos and just with my game plan in general. Do you know what I mean? I didn't want to kind of base my whole findings on the offline aspects, because obviously, you know, input signals and all that kind of stuff that you get with NPCs and all of that is like it still does not replace the human element of gameplay as an opponent. Do you know what I mean? So playing with an NPC offline in Undisputed, yeah, there is definitely a difference. There's definitely a difference. It's negligible if you still fight how you normally fight in Undisputed from day one. But for me, it's like, yeah, it actually slowed me down and made me box a whole lot more, and a whole lot more effectively as well. Now going online, this was definitely a learning curve for me, because my mind went straight back to Fight Night Champion and how I used to fight in Fight Night Champion. So I was kind of testing the waters out to see how much stamina and health distribution there was, and how much will I be penalized for using power punches. And you know, it's pretty fair. It's pretty fair from an online perspective. And fighting one of my brethren last night, had like around three fights before the Tyson Paul fight. I quite enjoyed it. I just loved actually boxing more than dodging spammers and, you know, just trying to freaking navigate around spammers, which is freaking boring, man. It really is boring, you know. But the overall delivery of the patch, for me personally, I think they lost a lot of people in that period, because even when I was fighting my friend Low, and he was on the phone with his friend, right, and he must have asked Low what he was doing. He said, yeah, I'm playing Undisputed. And I heard his friend on the phone saying, hey, that piece of shit, I ain't playing that piece of shit, man. Right? So you know that he wasn't happy about the game, and my friend Low, he had to convince, no, we you know, the game's had a patch and this and that, you need to try it out. Me and my friend from the UK is basically played it right now, and blah 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 blah. So I know he's the person that he spoke to. He's not the only person that has that sentiment towards the game, which is a shame, you know, because, you know, I think if the game was even like this day one, and then they implement some quality of life updates, in the game afterwards. This being the base version of the game in terms of the gameplay, you would have had a lot more people really embracing the game. But I just think it's the frustration of people not having a proper boxing game over the last 14 years and them experiencing spamming in a freaking biblical proportion, why people just was not feeling it. And that leads me to a subject I was going to talk about, but I thought, you know what, I was talking about it too much in my previous Undisputed videos. I think I was kind of late harping on about the same point. But in relation to YouTubers making how to beat spammers videos, I made a video basically saying, well, look, you know, it doesn't make sense making videos about how to beat spammers in a game in its current state. That's going to be patched anyway. It doesn't make any sense. And I was trying to tell one YouTuber in general, is like, look, it's not you, my brother, it ain't you, but I personally don't see the relevance in making these videos unless you want to exploit the fact that there are spammers and the game is in its current state for you to be making these videos. And the way he responded, I really didn't like it. He tried to make me sound very unreasonable and like I had some kind of mental issue or something like that. So I just blocked him and deleted him, you know what I'm saying? So and I was subscribed to his channel as well for a long time. But yeah, he tried to make me look like an idiot, and I was not having that. And for what I was trying to say, I thought personally that I was making sense. And one of the top Fight Night champion fighters, and now one of the most top undisputed fighters, basically said what I more or less said in a technical kind of way in the comment section of his video. And I just thanked him for that. I says, thank you for basically saying exactly the same thing what I tried to say to him, whereas he didn't make him look like an idiot, but he try to make me look like an idiot. But anyway, I'm digressing. But this is what I was basically waiting for. I was waiting for the patch to see what difference it would make in terms of the way I play, because anyone who has played with me in Fight Night Champion, they would tell you I fight. Let me rephrase that. When I'm in the ring, it's like a chess match for me. It's not about brawling. It's not about spamming. It's about picking my punches, conserving my stamina. Not even so much bob and weave, but just pop and move. You know what I mean? Just create enough space so that you can't hit me with your freaking reach, but I must be effective with mine and my movement, because it's all about punching, you know, my punches and my movement. That's it. It's not a case of trying to basically pin me in a corner or me pin you in a corner. I need to dance around that ring, you know what I mean? I need to get some real estate in that ring so I have the space and the freedom to fight how I need to fight. And I am getting that in this version of Undisputed. So yeah, I'm happy with it thus far. I've only had like a handful of fights, but I've got a couple more people to basically fight with this patch, so I can see, you know, with each level of fighter, what I need to do, how my game needs to be upped, how my bar needs to be raised in terms of my gameplay within this game. So yeah, so thank you Steel City Interactive for listening to us and implementing what needed to be implemented really from week one. To be fair, you know, it needed to be implemented a whole lot sooner, but who knows what goes on behind the scenes that causes a patch to be delivered this late. But anyway, better late than never, I say, which kind of leads me on to the subject of the events that a lot of us saw last night. I personally didn't watch it, but obviously I woke up to the news, heard the result, was surprised and not surprised at the same time. I mean, you know, Mike Tyson's 58. You know, what's he doing in a ring with somebody half his age? Well, 70 million reasons why, I would imagine. You know, people can call it a farce or what have you, but at the end of the day, you know, it's his security, isn't it? And as Mike Tyson said post-fight, he had no one to prove of his ability than himself. And no one can argue with that. No one can argue with that. No matter which era of boxing you come from, you can't argue with that. You know, that's a life lesson within itself, much less a boxing or a sporting lesson. So for me, listen, the fight was what it was. Jake Paul has basically got up in a lot of people's estimations and what have you, you know, and boxing is his thing. So, you know, if he has basically paved his road in boxing in one of the most spectacular ways I've ever seen anyone do it. You know, and people can say what they basically want to say, but bottom line, right? Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's the age factor, but, you know, to entice someone like Mike Tyson to come into the ring and also face him in the ring, physically, mentally, I don't think there'd be a lot of people to basically do that. The rulings of the fight, to cut the fights down to 2-minute rounds and this and that and blah blah blah, that's, you know, it's semantics, you know, it's semantics. But you have to consider Mike's age, you know what I mean? Because he can get one unlucky thump from Jake Paul and that would have been it. And a lot of people were basically booing because of the fact that Paul was basically carrying Mike through the fight. And I think personally that he was being very respectful to Mike because of his age, right? And not wanting to hurt him to a point where he can't even enjoy the money that he's going to basically be getting, or he would have to use that money to basically pay his medical bills. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, Paul has kind of got up in my estimations, you know, at the end of the day. And for as long as the fight has been planned and deliberated and negotiated, you know, it was what it was. But I hope with that now that, you know, Tyson can just basically just be an asset to up and coming boxers coming up now. And who knows, you know, him, I don't know, you know, train or open an academy or some sort. I don't know, but his name carries so much gravitas and so much weight to the sport. You know, he has transcended the sport. There's no two ways about it. You know what I mean? Not since, you know, Ali as somebody basically transcended the sport in such a way in terms of knockouts than Tyson. You know, it cannot be argued, it cannot be denied, and it cannot be disputed. Hence, undisputed. Anyway, so yeah, so that was my findings on the fight. So overall, guns and gloves. COD Block 6, yeah, loving it. Playing the game differently to how I normally play other iterations of the game, and Undisputed with its current patch, I'm liking it thus far. I'm playing it more like a chess match, more than just basically just trying to dodge people's spams and blah 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 and what have you. But I think I need to play a whole lot more because of the Tyson Paul fight. You know, people weren't basically on the game when I wanted to fight them, but hey, it is what it is. Because I live in the UK, the fight was on very late in the morning, and I've passed the age of sitting up till God knows what time in the morning just to watch an exhibition fight. Anyway, it's with that, I'm going to bid you guys adieu. Thanks for watching. Tell me what you think of COD Block 6 and also Undisputed in both their current states. I would love to know. So until we link up next time, people stay blessed. I will catch you on the next one. Take it easy, people. Happy gaming. Peace.